is I, Ronald Reagan, the uncommon voice for the common man, coming to you today live from Shadyside, Ohio, where right now, even before winter begins, it's a balmy 15 degrees. So much for global warming, I mean climate change. Today's emergency tirade, I would like to say something about the Virginia federal court decision to claim that the Obamacare legislation is indeed unconstitutional. This is good news, and it's a good win for the good guys, you and I. Now, we all understand that Obamacare is indeed unconstitutional because the federal government does not have the right to tell us that we have or forced to buy health insurance, or we will get fined or see our tax refund docked. That is not mentioned in the Constitution, and it is unconstitutional. But in these videos, I try and offer something a little bit different, because what I try to do is poke fun at something or give you an insight that you might not hear anyplace else, and this is the perfect example of it. Now, what do you notice that's missing with the ruling from a federal judge in Virginia about this unconstitutionality of Obamacare? There's something missing. Something that you don't hear a great deal of. Something I haven't even heard at all, but I have to admit, maybe I haven't seen it. Maybe I haven't heard it. But I keep looking for it, and I can't find it. And you know what that is? It's the reaction from the White House to the Obamacare being struck down as unconstitutional. And the reaction from the left from it. Where's the reaction? How come they haven't said anything about it? You turn on the left-wing wackos at MSNBC, and all Keith Olbermann and Rachel Muffy Maddow and I Know Nothing Fathead Ed Sergeant Schultz and jolly old Chris Tingles Matthews talk about is the tax reform compromise. That's all they talk about. They barely mention it. But I'm going to tell you why they don't mention it. Because in this big decision, they use that dreaded U word. That's right, unconstitutional. They are horrified by that. Now remember, these are the same people that when a federal judge struck down the Arizona immigration law, they were loving. They just could not believe their good fortune. They were a federal judge standing up for the rights of the oppressed, the minorities, good. But when they get shot down by a federal judge, silence. Nothing. And you know why? Because they understand that even now, after all this, that 65 to 70% of the American people still don't want this thing. So they very well can't say anything. Because if they go out and we hear how Obama is going to have to go to the Supreme Court, which is where this is going to end up, and defend this thing, then he's going to once again be seen going against the will of the American people. And he can't afford to do that. They paid a very, very dear price for the shady way that they got this thing passed. Remember, 2 summers ago, all the protests, all the people saying, no, you can't do this. You shouldn't do it. And what did the Democrats do? They went back and they bribed senators, dirty deals, corruption. Yeah, they got it passed, but they did it in such a shanty way that they paid a big price for it in the November elections. And that's all there is to it. This is one of the main reasons why they got their asses kicked in November, is the way that they forced this thing on us when we don't want it. Now, you're going to say, well, what is it that the Republicans bring to the table? Republicans have tried a very, very simple way of reforming health care. George Bush tried it. Remember George Bush's idea? HSAs, health savings accounts, which would basically be like Social Security. A little bit of money taken out of your paycheck and put in your lockbox for a change, and that would be your money. And you would be able to go out and buy your own insurance. There would be no government agency. There would be no forcing you to buy it. There would be no death panels. There would be no corruption, or there wouldn't have been. All we would have done was just take a little money out of your paycheck, and you would have the say in your health insurance. And if you wanted to use that money to pay for doctor's visits or whatever, you had the money. Or you could go out and buy your own insurance. The choice was up to you. And the Republicans, after Bush was gone, they had some sound ideas too, like tort reform. The Democrats scream and yell that insurance costs are going up. Half the reason insurance costs, health insurance costs, go up is because of settlements and lawsuits. And a lot of these lawsuits are junk lawsuits, but they settle out of court because they don't want to just drag this thing on anymore. It's the truth. And the tort reform that the Republicans offered would set a cap on those lawsuit amounts, and that would have drove the price of health care down almost the second it was passed. But the Democrats didn't want that. Why? Because the Democrats, once again, want to control everything. It's just like I said in my last video. You and I know that the health care thing is exactly what Obama's wife said about the federal food, the lunch program. It's the exact same thing. They want to control it. That way, they will dictate to you what kind of insurance you can have, where you can get it, and then you will be addicted to the government. That's it. It's just more Marxism and socialism. But now Obama is going to have to defend this thing in court against the will of the American people. And that's why you don't hear anything about it. And that's why you should watch these videos, because I see these things when others don't. Now, until next time, this is your favorite Islamo-homophobiac, Ronald Reagan, the uncommon voice for the common man, saying this to you now. When news like this breaks out, my tirades break in. Until next time, over and out.